Antimatter is sort of the area of study that I was researching before I found out all the freaking answers that I came up with. Mind you, it was like the whole entire life experience was sort of all of the pieces of all of the puzzle of the experience came together once I, you know, faced that antimatter thing. And it's like, you don't really have to worry about the elites destroying the planet. It's these scientists that are trying to discover what antimatter is. And, I mean, they're going to destroy the whole friggin' planet. What they're trying to do is create a bomb that destroys the whole friggin' human experience. I mean, just look at the words they use. They're trying to create a bomb. But a bomb they think they can control to, fuel, well, the last article I read was fuel a starship, like a spaceship. And it's like you're trying to get out of your own skin and be something that you're not. And it's like, why don't you just be at one with who you are? Why don't you see your own potential instead of trying to escape from your potential? Why is there such a need to get outside of your own friggin' skin? And that may not make any sense to anybody if you don't know what antimatter is. But there's slit experiments. You can go in and do some research on that. Lots of experiments that are saying particles seem to be coming in and out of our experiences. And these experiments are saying that it is the observer that changes what it is you look at. And even the scientist that's created that experiment has the answers, but doesn't even see the answer. Because as he was explaining, there's one YouTube video that I posted, or I had up. I don't think it's on my channel anymore, but as he's explaining what antimatter is, and the slit, or not antimatter, but the slit experiment and these particles coming in and out, he was saying, if you believe as I believe, this is what's going on. And it's like, yeah, that's what it's all about, is what you believe is, is the rules that you're going to view with. And then you create that. What you believe makes the judge or the observer who they are to create what it is they want to experience. And antimatter basically is, think of it this way. Where does the thought come from? Somebody may make a suggestion. One word, one smell, one thing can influence a thought. And then that thought goes down like this river, and your brain will get locked into that thought until something else that's more interesting pops up and gets your attention. Now, people that meditate try to get rid of all of these influences that create thought, and try and get centered, but even they don't see that they're meditating on the very problem that they're trying to escape. And you may think you've gotten out of it, and then you come out of your meditation, you think that you're clear, but you're not. You just meditated more on what it is you want to highly focus on. So it's like, if you've got a problem that you're dealing with and you're meditating, you're going to meditate on that problem, even though you think there is no thought, there is no thought, there is no thought. When you hear people that meditate, they have this imagination that they experience, that they can astral project, and that there is another universe out there. And it's like, that too is part of the imagination. You can't escape the imagination. You can't escape thought. You can't not think, because thinking creates. So where does thought originate from? Hyperspace, apparently. It comes out in the universe, out in something more bigger than who we are, sort of thing. You know, it is through suggestions, but those suggestions are out in the air. It's out in hyperspace. And that's where original thought comes from. And then it comes into mind, and then the next stage is realization of what the mind is thinking. Okay, so if we just break it down to those three processes, basically what this antimatter that they think they're going to control is they're at the stage of mind and like what they're trying to do is control everything in hyperspace. And if you can control hyperspace, then you know you can do amazing things with it. And this is so hard to explain. So if you can control that first original thought, that first antimatter that creates, then you can create anything you want, right? Like, but it's like you're doing it anyways. Why do you need technology to do the same thing? And so anyways, where these guys are at is they now think that they've got antimatter in a container that they can at least observe and try and figure out what it is. But they're not realizing while they got this shit in a jar and they're going to observe this shit, they're going to change whatever's in that jar to be whatever it is they want it to be. So, and if you look at the words that they use, they want a bomb. So it's like they're creating a bomb that actually kills themselves. And it's like, why would you want to play with that? Like, it is like, are you friggin' insane? It's like playing with matches. As soon as you're successful, you're dead. So it's like, oh, and then I got it. And that's sort of what's happened, you know, with throughout history, is we're trying to discover answers through all of our mistakes. So we keep making more and more mistakes, and then we destroy ourselves thinking we got the answers. And then we get these spirits that are sort of influencing our thoughts. You know, all these dead people think they know it all because they got to that stage of, oh, I think we know what's happening now. And it's like, you're dead. You didn't get nothing, you know. The whole thing, if you got it, you would have known not to play that game anymore. But, you know, they're all repeating the same patterns because we're all still being influenced by the same mistakes being repeated over and over and over again. The only time you're going to get it is by recognizing what it is you're looking at. And antimatter is the beginning stages of creation. It's it is behind, you know, thoughts create. If I want to bake a cake, I have to have the thought first, oh, I want a cake. And then I have to make matter form, you know, with energy to create the cake that I want. So it's the same thing with anything that you want to experience. It is like the law of attraction, that every single thing in your reality, you are using antimatter day in and day out. It's just a matter of how to use antimatter. And you don't need technology to use something like that when we use it all the time. You know, it's get control of who you are and what you want to create. You know, like if you want to create a bomb, maybe look inside yourself and ask yourself, why do you want to create a bomb that blows you up? And it's like, if you think that after you're blown up that you got a spaceship to go and explore outer space with now the energy that you got to create, you know, you've destroyed your world. You know, you've destroyed the universe. There is no spaceship. There is no you. There is nothing, because you created the bomb. And you know it's the most powerful bomb on the planet that created all of life. You know, like, it's just so much insanity going on with some of these scientists. And it's, you have to control the mind of what the mind wants to experience. And at the root of everything, it's love and peace. We're trying to create heaven on earth, so it's like you have to control the emotion, because the emotion is what drives everything. And but it's the mind that needs to bring understanding to the emotion, so the emotions can be controlled. Once you have understanding, emotions are easy. And I'm still not at that stage. I'm still discovering myself, because things can still piss me off, although it takes seconds for me to notice that I'm doing it. And then I do see, like I had a conversation with my oldest son yesterday, very, very upsetting conversation. Apparently he's not doing well and refuses to talk. And he's stuck in his own black hole. He's seeing the evil that he wants to see and replaying the games over and over in his mind. And as a mom, really, really, really painful to observe your child in that much pain. So I experienced that pain. But then I took myself out. You know, I could see, okay, this isn't healthy. This will get me down a wrong hill. I'm no good to him if I'm upset and all of this stuff. The whole thing I've been doing is trying to calm myself down so that I can be rational and logical. And he doesn't feel like people love and care about him and understand him, and yet I do. But he's been rejecting that all the time. So it's okay, he just needs to prove it. So it's like I get to throw a ton of love bombs at my own son until he's ready to feel it. So I can have more pleasure in expressing how can I love my son in how many different ways. You know, can I do it for 5 years? Can I do it for 20 years? You know, how long will it take, and how many different ways can I experience giving somebody else a love bomb until they get it? So that's where, you know, where is my intention first? Intention is very, very powerful. And my intention is for, you know, everybody to be happy and feeling that love and feeling. So I'm trying to create antimatter to support that. And it does show up, but we confuse what it is. And, you know, I can be confused as, okay, here's a problem that I'm dealing with that is painful, and, you know, go down that river of thought. Or I can twist it around and make it to be something completely different, which has the potential to create. You know, after all, I want my son to be happy. So if I look at mind and where mind is and see that I could go down this path, it is a free will. I could go down this path or I can go down that path. What is it that I want? When you can control mind, then mind controls antimatter. Antimatter is the beginning of all creation. You're using it 24/7. You don't have to get ahead of it, because it is it. I mean, get ahead of your mind before you think you can get ahead of antimatter. And I ain't seeing these scientists get ahead of their mind to realize that second stage, mind and realize, mind and realize. When you get those two things working, then maybe look at how antimatter is the tool that you can use to create. And you can create anything with antimatter. If you want free energy, it's there. I've seen it. If anything that you possibly could want is there. Antimatter is there for everybody. It's free for everybody to use. You just gotta know how to use it, which is control mind, because mind makes the observer through beliefs, and beliefs are created through an understanding of something. And when you get that and have control over that, antimatter will create any friggin' thing you want it to be. Peace out.